A lone hunter's act of kindness toward a dying pregnant wolf leads to an incredible reunion a year later. After he saved the she-wolf and her unborn cubs, he heard a sound that brought tears to his eyes. In a small clearing, Jack discovered something shocking: a pregnant wolf, sick and alone, lying helplessly in the cold Alaskan snow. Without hesitation, Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out the jerky he had prepared for lunch. He carefully tossed it to the wolf, who sniffed it carefully before eating it. "Here you go, girl," Jack said quietly. "You need this more than I do." While watching the she-wolf eat, Jack noticed how thin she was. Her fur was matted and dirty, and she looked like she hadn't eaten in days. He wondered what happened to her pack, since wolves usually live in groups, helping each other hunt and survive. But this she-wolf was all alone. From that day on, Jack made it his mission to help the she-wolf. He named her Luna, because her fur shimmered like moonlight. Knowing that Luna was about to have children, Jack was worried about how she would care for her puppies during the cold winter. He knew he had to act quickly. Wasting no time, Jack hurried back to his hut to gather supplies. He returned with an axe, rope and as many blankets as he could carry. Working tirelessly throughout the day, Jack built a small shelter near where he found Luna. As the sun set, Jack knew it was time to move Luna. He slowly approached her, saying in a soothing tone, "Hello, Luna. I have a better place for you to rest." Luna watched him wearily with her eyes, but did not try to move away. Jack wrapped Luna in a warm blanket with great care. She was weak and did not resist. As he carefully lifted her into his arms, he carefully laid Luna down onto the soft mat. She seemed to relax almost immediately, immersed in the warmth and comfort of her new home. When the first stars appeared in the sky, he reluctantly prepared to leave. "I'll be back early in the morning, Luna. Now take a rest." From that day on, Jack came every day bringing Luna food and checking on how she was doing. Luna remained cautious at first, but over time she began to trust him. Jack's kindness towards the moon did not go unnoticed by the other animals in the forest. A curious black wolf began following Jack on his daily visits to the moon. At first, Jack was worried that Black Wolf might try to harm Luna or her future pups, but to his surprise, Black Wolf seemed to care about Luna as much as he did. One day when Jack came to Luna's shelter, he saw Black Wolf curled up next to her, keeping her warm. Jack couldn't believe his eyes. It was as if Black Wolf knew that Luna needed help and wanted to do his part. Winter dragged on and Jack continued to take care of Luna. He spoke to her tenderly, telling her stories about his life in the forest. Luna seemed to be listening, keeping her amber eyes on Jack as he spoke. One stormy evening, Jack became worried. Outside the window of his hut, the wind howled, causing the glass to rattle. He had a feeling that something was wrong. He put on his warmest coat and went out into the snowstorm to check on Luna. The snow was so thick that he could barely see where he was going, but he kept walking, worried about his wolf friend. When he reached Luna's hideout, his heart sank. The moon was not there. He looked around, calling out her name. Then he heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, Jack discovered Luna in a small cave nearby. She gave birth to her children. Jack stayed with Luna all evening, trying to calm her down and keep her warm. He covered her with his coat from the cold wind that blew into the cave. Hours passed and Jack watched in amazement as Luna gave birth to 4 tiny, squirming wolf cubs. After the birth, Jack left, promising Luna to return the next morning. The next day, when the storm finally subsided, Jack came as promised. He saw Luna curled up with her new family, looking tired but happy. He helped her take care of the puppies, bringing extra food so she could prepare milk for them. Weeks passed, and the puppies grew stronger. They began to play and explore the area outside the shelter he had built for them. Jack enjoyed watching them, especially the smallest puppy, which he named Tiny. Tiny was always the last one to try something new, but once he started, he became the most adventurous. The Black Wolf continued to visit them. Now he played with the cubs as if they were his own family. Jack was amazed at how well the Black Wolf and Luna got along. It seemed that they had formed their own little pack, of which Jack was an honorary member. As spring approached, Jack noticed that the forest was becoming livelier. One afternoon, while visiting Luna and her cubs, he heard the cracking of branches and muffled voices in the distance. The instinct of a savage told him that something was wrong. Jack quietly crept through the underbrush, following the sound. Soon he saw 4 hunters with guns, who were tracking the tracks of the moon in the melting snow. His heart began to beat wildly when he heard Their conversation. We've been tracking this pack of wolves for days, one hunter whispered. They have been spotted near farms. We cannot allow them to attack livestock or people. I heard there are puppies there, another added. Better to deal with this now before it gets worse. Jack knew he had to act quickly. He quickly walked towards Luna's lair, frantically thinking of a plan. When he arrived, he saw Luna pushing her cubs deeper into the cave. The black wolf stood guard at the entrance. However, Jack heard the hunters getting closer, and their voices getting louder. When the hunters came into view, Jack stood firmly in front of the entrance to the shelter. His posture was resolute. He looked into their eyes with unshakable determination. This she-wolf and her cubs are under my protection, he said firmly, and his voice echoed in the quiet forest air. They didn't harm anyone. The hunters were shocked and lowered their guns slightly in surprise. They had never seen anyone protect a wolf before. Jack, said one of them, recognizing him, what are you doing? These wolves can be dangerous. Jack took a deep breath. His next words could mean life or death for Luna and her family. He began to tell them Luna's story, explaining how he found her dying in the snow and helped her survive the brutal winter. As he spoke, his voice was full of passion and conviction, and he detailed the birth of the puppies and the incredible friendship they had formed. Come and see for yourself, Jack urged, pointing to the shelter. The hunters approached cautiously. He showed them how gentle Luna is and how playful her puppies are. As if on cue, the smallest puppy poked his head out of his hiding place, his curiosity overpowering his fear. The hunters watched in amazement as the puppy cautiously approached Jack and rubbed its nose against his hand. The hunters listened, and the expressions on their faces changed from suspicion to surprise. They were amazed by Jack's compassion and the unusual friendship between man and wolf. One by one, they lowered their guns completely, and the tension in the air dissipated. I've never seen anything like it, admitted one hunter, shaking his head in disbelief. Perhaps we jumped to conclusions. Jack caught the moment. These wolves are not a threat, he explained. They are a family just trying to survive, just like the rest of us. I watched them carefully, and I can assure you that they did not go near any farms. They hunt in the deep forest, far from people. The hunters exchanged glances, clearly reconsidering their mission. Finally, the leader spoke. Okay, we trust you, but you will need to keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't get into trouble. Jack nodded solemnly, feeling relieved. You have my word, he promised, knowing that he had just become the official protector of Luna's pack. When the hunters left, Jack turned to the shelter. Luna and the black wolf stood at the entrance there, amber eyes meeting. As spring arrived, Jack knew it was time to release Luna and her pups back into the wild. Although it was a difficult decision, he knew it was best for their survival. One cool morning, Jack went to the shelter he had built. Luna and her pups were already outside enjoying the sunshine. Jack walked slowly towards them, overcome with emotion. Hello, girl, he said softly. Luna perked up her ears and wagged her tail. The puppies, now larger and more confident, played at her feet. Taking a deep breath, Jack began to dismantle the shelter. He cleared away the branches and logs that he had carefully gathered together. As he worked, he talked to Luna, explaining what he was doing. It's time for you to leave. Luna, he said, his voice full of emotion. You and your pups must be free to live like wolves. Luna watched him carefully, seemingly understanding. The black wolf, her constant companion, was watching what was happening nearby. Once the cover was gone, Jack gathered the blankets he used for Luna. He folded them carefully, planning to keep them as souvenirs. When the area was restored, Jack knew it was time to say a final goodbye. He knelt down, allowing the puppies to approach him one last time. To him, each of them nuzzled his hand, demonstrating their wild nature. Finally, Jack turned to Luna. He gently stroked her head and scratched her behind the ears one last time. Thank you, he whispered, for trusting me and showing me a side of nature that I never knew existed. Luna licked his hand, causing tears to form in Jack's eyes. Then, as if she understood, she barked softly at her pups. They gathered around her. Jack stood up and stepped back. Now go, he said in a broken voice. It's time for you to go wild again. Luna cast one last glance at Jack and led her wolf cubs deep into the forest. The black wolf hesitated but followed them. Jack watched them disappear into the forest. He stood there for a long time, listening to the sounds of the forest and feeling a mixture of sadness and peace. Returning to his hut, Jack took out his notebook and began to describe his time with Luna. Jack realized that while Luna and her cubs were away, they had forever changed his understanding of the forest and its inhabitants. One autumn day, a whole year had passed. Jack was in the forest when he heard a strange sound. It was a wolf howl, but here it sounded familiar. Jack looked around, his heart pounding as he scanned the trees. At the edge of the clearing, he saw a sight that took his breath away. Luna, bigger and stronger than before, with 4 adult wolves by her side. Her wolf cubs. The howl of the moon echoed through the forest. She seemed to recognize this place, the place where Jack had helped her survive that harsh winter and where she had given birth. The familiar surroundings probably prompted her to instinctively raise her voice, marking her territory and signaling her pack. Tears filled Jack's eyes as he watched Luna and her family. They looked healthy and happy. Luna's eyes met Jack's, and for a moment he thought she recognized him, remembering the kindness he had shown her a year ago. Then Luna howled again, and this time her adult pups joined her, their voices merging into a beautiful, wild chorus. Jack laughed and cried at the same time, shocked by the unexpected reunion and proof that Luna's family was thriving. He noticed a flash of black fur. The black wolf was still following Luna's pack. Jack's heart beat with joy as he saw that the incredible friendship between the black wolf and Luna continued. For a few precious minutes, Luna and her family remained at the edge of the clearing as if to let Jack see how well they were doing. Then, with one last look at Jack, Luna turned and disappeared into the forest, her pups and the black wolf following close on her heels. After the wolves left, Jack's heart was filled with happiness and pride. He had always considered himself a simple hunter, but now he realized that he was part of something bigger. His kindness not only saved Luna and her puppies, but also changed him in ways he himself did not expect. You ever had an unexpected encounter with a wild animal that changed the way you think? Let us know in the comments section below.